Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unlimited Universal Show. I am Ryno, and this week we are going to be talking about the Universal Studios theme park coming to the United Kingdom. I have more details on Universal Horror Unleashed opening August 2025 in Las Vegas, and I want to talk to you about all of the food and drinks that I have had at Universal Epic Universe so far so that you can figure out what are some do not miss items on your first trip there. That and more, maybe. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But before we get started, I do want to remind everybody that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all of the content that we produce here. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, for a free, no obligation quote today. It is also brought to you by our Patreon supporters. We truly could not do this without you. If you want to learn more about how you can get exclusive content from different members of the Diz team, you can head over to patreon.com/DizUnlimited and learn more about that. But thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for giving me the time to speak and talk to you. Like I said, we've got some news to talk about, and then later I'm just going to tell you everything that I have been eating and drinking on my trips to Universal Epic Universe. I think there are some do not miss items in here, so we're going to be talking a lot about a lot of food today. You might want to grab a snack before we get into it, but let's start with the news that we have. And just when you thought Universal Epic Universe was the big news in town, Universal Destination and Experiences went ahead and announced / confirmed, technically, an all-new Universal theme park and resort coming to the United Kingdom. We did know that Universal had purchased land and was looking at the viability of building something in Bedford, England. Universal stated, "Our intent to proceed with the project follows more than a year of feasibility, due diligence, and close engagement with local and national stakeholders, as well as members of the local surrounding communities." I want to read a little more of the statement because I found it interesting what they said, and I assume you might as well. In December 2023, we confirmed the purchase of a parcel of land just south of Bedford and spent over a year exploring the potential to deliver a new theme park and resort experience at this site. This included a period of public engagement from Friday, April 5th to Friday, May 3rd, 2024, to share our proposal with local communities. During our public engagement, we went with almost 1,500 people and engaged with nearly 100 local organizations to hear ideas and feedback. We received over 6,000 responses to our engagement survey, with 92% of people surveyed expressing their support. 92% in support of this. That's a lot. Universal has also stated that the initial report plans include a theme park, a shopping, dining, and entertainment complex, and a 500-room hotel. The multi-billion-pound project will be the company's first European theme park and is set to open in 2031 pending final approvals. Construction is expected to start next year on the 476-acre complex in Bedford, England, located 60 miles north of London. Expected to be one of the largest and most advanced theme parks in Europe, the project will bring nearly 20,000 jobs during the construction period, with an additional 8,000 new jobs across the hospitality and creative industries when it opens. Some concept art for the project was released, but Universal stated it is too early in the process to know the possibilities of featured attractions and experiences. More details about the project will be revealed over time and are subject to the necessary planning consent approvals, but one thing I recognize right off the back from that art is a Waterworld stunt show. The stunt show that keeps on going, baby. It's outlived the notoriety of its originating film. But seriously, if you haven't seen the Waterworld stunt show, like at Universal Studios Hollywood, it's pretty good. It's a little campy, but there is some incredible stunts in there. So like the day after this announcement was made, the BBC also had an article with some, I'm going to say this, quote unquote, confirmed properties being represented in the park. According to an insider source, guests can expect appearances from popular brands such as James Bond, Lord of the Rings, and Paddington. The BBC was told other areas and attractions at the park will be inspired by Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and Minions. Noted attractions from the source include an indoor stunt show based on 007, similar to the Bourne Stuntacular at Universal Studios Florida, a Paddington-themed land, an indoor Lord of the Rings attraction, and outdoor roller coasters based on Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and Minions. You might be asking yourself, how can they not be doing the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in its native country? Well, this park will be about 40 minutes or so from the Warner Brothers Studio Tour in Hertfordshire. I don't know if that's how you said it. The source for the BBC article told the BBC that watertight exclusivity contracts made it difficult to include Hogwarts in the plans, although it could be reconsidered alongside other brands such as Nintendo or Wicked if the park were to expand in the future. It's interesting that they bring up Wicked because I think people really want that here. We'll see what happens with that. But Warner Brothers has the UK rights to Harry Potter attractions. They tried to find a way around it, but couldn't. That could change in the years to come, though, the source said. None of the brands have yet to be officially confirmed by Universal Creative. I don't know about you, but I don't really know what they're thinking calling it the Universal Studios United Kingdom project, other than think about the abbreviation of that. It's US, UK. You suck. I think it's going to be anything but that, but I saw someone online refer to it saying the official abbreviation is going to be like Universal Studios Great Britain, or like Universal Great Britain, so it'd be UGB. But their own site called it the UK project, so I don't know what to tell you. I hope it won't live up to the abbreviation. I'm very excited about this. What a time to be a Universal Parks fan. Seriously, we have the opening of Epic Universe just around the corner on May 22nd. We have the Universal UK project, and there's the Universal Kids Resort in Texas that's opening in May 2026. And obviously, we're going to talk about the thing opening in August in Las Vegas in just a second. I just feel like it's sort of, I mean, listen, if you're telling me there's a Back to the Future coaster, also, I should back up even further. The United Kingdom has seasons, right? So we could go to a park and sort of experience seasons. I know that it has a lot rainier weather. I don't know, though. I say that right now. It has a lot rainier weather than Florida is, like the lightning capital of the world. So we get storms here. I just don't think they last as long. So, like, not to speak out of turn, but I feel like a lot of visitors from the UK come here and they'll talk about how gray it is and stuff. But listen, gray is my sweet spot. So I would love to experience a park over here. Also, you're telling me, I wish it was a James Bond stunt show here. I love James Bond movies. And, I mean, they're an institution. And then you throw in Lord of the Rings, which I know has been, like, off and on rumored for years about that happening at Universal Orlando Resort. Throw in Paddington. Hello. I know he's a big hit, but I don't know. Back to the Future, too. I love that idea. There's just a lot of fun potential here. So it'll be really interesting to see how this shapes up. Also, giving it a timeline of 6 years, I would love to see, and this is not me ragging on Disney, but I would love to see how true to that timeline this holds. Because again, remember, this is being built in an already developed area, but Universal Epic Universe was built in a developed area of Orlando. So it'll just be interesting to see how this works in Europe, first of all, and I hope, wish them the best of luck, obviously, because I feel like it's our escape, right? Like when they succeed, we have new destinations to go to. Speaking of new destinations to go to, one that I am very, very excited for is Universal Horror Unleashed, which we have some new details on. This year-round horror entertainment complex opening in Las Vegas on August 14th, 2025. Universal has given us some more details and a further look at one of the 4 haunted houses that you'll find at Universal Horror Unleashed. A highly rated fan favorite house in Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Florida and Universal Studios Hollywood is Scarecrow the Reaping. It's one of the 4 nightmare-inducing haunted houses that await guests at this new Universal Horror Unleashed area. The other houses being Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Exorcist the Believer, and Universal Monsters. But today we are talking specifically about Scarecrow the Reaping. Inspired by the historic Dust Bowl era when severe dust storms devastated the Midwest, this original story will take us back in time to a dry, barren 1930s farmland ravaged by farmers and taken over by horrifying inhabitants arising from the land, bloodthirsty scarecrows bent on revenge. As guests start their journey in the middle of a windstorm before entering an abandoned farmhouse, they'll encounter the monstrous and gigantic creatures made of remnants of dried human flesh and bones of beasts smirched with burlap, root, and vine, with only one mission at hand: obtain vengeance for their ravaged land. Universal released a little behind-the-scenes video about what went into the making of this house, and I noticed there was a little cameo by our very own Halloween Horror Nights icon, the Pumpkin Lord. Is he going to be in the house? Why would they put him in the video if he wasn't going to be in the house? I thought I also saw online somewhere that there was a video of the creatives talking about the difference between this experience and Halloween Horror Nights, like how they frame the scare and think about it in terms of the guests' experience as they go through it. It was really interesting, but I couldn't find it when I was to reference when I was typing up my script. But they talked about sort of the time essence of like how you experience everything and where the scares are like emanating from. So it sounded really, really interesting, especially for anybody who's like a diehard Halloween Horror Nights fan out there. So if someone does come across that by the time I publish this video, please drop a link. I'd love to watch it. I didn't see it though on the Instagram or the YouTube channel, so I'm not sure where it went. Maybe I made it up. Maybe I had a dream. I do also want to talk about the bar that you're going to find at Universal Horror Unleashed, Jack's Alley Bar. Here, guests will enjoy themed specialty cocktails, acrobatic performances, and more in a circus-like hellscape where the deranged Jack the Clown and his impishly evil sidekick Chance reign. Jack the Clown and Chance are original Universal Orlando Resort Halloween Horror Nights icons. Set in a twisted, dark carnival atmosphere, guests will face Jack's evil maniacs and a group of malicious jugglers, dancers, and fortune tellers as terrifying chaos ensues during interactive show moments. Each immersive area will place guests in the center stage of horror, with many opportunities to interact with characters for a deeply engaging experience. Deeply engaging experience. I feel like it's going to translate for me as a deeply scarring experience. Universal Horror Unleashed is brought to us by the Masters of Horror at Universal, known for its legacy of terrifying stories and experiences spanning from films to their award-winning Halloween Horror Nights. The all-new horror experience acts as the anchor tenant in the 20-acre expansion of Area 15, an immersive entertainment district in Las Vegas. Like I said earlier, this all-new venue opens this August the 14th, 2025. Tickets are now on sale. Who is going with me? I have never been to Las Vegas, and I feel like what a better time to go. It's great, too, because August for me is like official Halloween kickoff season, so I'm ready. My body is ready. Now, speaking of my body, you don't get a body like this unless you've eaten quite a bit in theme parks. So we're going to talk about some Universal Epic Universe food. The park officially opens, like I've said, on May 22nd, 2025, and is currently in previews for annual pass holders. The Diz was fortunate enough to have been invited by Universal for the media event that they had recently, and it was the first day that guests were allowed to take pictures and video inside the park. I have been back since, sorry, I typed this sentence weird. I have been back since, and then I will also be going a couple more times before the park opens. I'm telling you this, though, because I have eaten quite a bit of food. I still feel like I have barely scratched the surface in terms of that. Now, I am happy to report that I haven't had anything bad or something that I wouldn't necessarily get again. I wasn't sure if I was going to call this a foodie guide or like my do not miss items, but I think I'm just going to go with it as an everything I have eaten at Epic Universe ... so far. All right, so like I said earlier, grab that snack if you're hungry, because I'm going to be talking about a ton of these foods, these drinks, pretty much everything I've consumed thus far at Universal Epic Universe. Again, remember, the park is still in previews, so things may change, the pricing may be different, so I'm not going to like really get into that too much, the pricing wise stuff. I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit, but take it with a grain of salt. It very well could change before opening. Also, I just want to let everybody out there who's either listening or watching this, we will, of course, have plenty of food reviews and content on the various dining establishments through the theme park, so stay tuned for all of that. Also, everything I'm going to talk to you about was paid for out of pocket, excuse me, with the exception of one meal, which I will mention when I get to that in just a second. It's the first one I'm going to talk about it. But I thought the best way to do this is I would just go world by world and talk to you about where I ate and what I had. And so that starts with the first world that you will enter upon entering this epic universe, which is Celestial Park, and this is the one that has the asterisks with it. So on the media day, not paid for by the Diz, we were treated to a buffet style lunch at the Oak and Star Tavern. Now, I didn't take any pictures or video of the food because why would I? It's not going to be served buffet style when guests are there, so it's not indicative of what they're going to get. It was a sampling of food from the menu, and if it ends up as good as it was at the buffet, I think this location is going to be a big hit. The Oak and Star Tavern is a fast, casual barbecue dining location in the Cosmic Garden area of Celestial Park. According to the Universal website, it will serve breakfast and lunch. Also at this location, you're going to find the Plastered Owl, which is a bar named for a comical celestial owl with service both inside and a walk-up window outside. Now, this bar I can talk about a little bit because I purchased a drink here. So I do think it will be pretty popular as it has some decent beers on taps and a good selection of handmade craft cocktails, but they are on the higher price side as of right now. So during my stop, I had the Witty Wolf's Breakfast Sour because it came recommended by the bartender. When the bartender recommends a drink to you, you kind of go with that, right? So the Witty Wolf's Breakfast Sour is Rattlesnake Rosie's Maple Bacon Whiskey, DePucker Orange Curacao, Grade A Maple Syrup, Lemon Juice, Orange Juice, and Angostura Bitters with an apple wood smoked bacon strip for $19. So after the tip, it ends up being a $24 drink. And baby, I do not make $24 drink money, so this is a special occasion drink for me. I'm not unhappy with the choice. I normally don't get drinks with orange juice in it because the acidity and combined with the alcohol really bothers my stomach. But this was actually really, really smooth, a very well-balanced drink that truly had that bacon flavor infused throughout. It was more refreshing than I expected. I do want to say that I really enjoyed the design of this location on the inside too. There's a whole story about the owl and his animal friends that you can find somewhere. I tried to find it before I started writing this, but it's like on the Universal website, it's only like a sentence or two. But our tour guide, which is how we were taken around for our media day, gave a lot more background. But this owl has animal friends. You'll see them like in the carvings and stuff like that. But if you go inside too, there's like a cool tree design in the restaurant. I thought it was cute. You can sit at the bar inside. You can order at the window outside. The couple of times I've been, there seems to be a pretty decent amount of people that have some interest in it. But I do think it will be popular. Okay, so moving down the pipeline and through that big green warp pipe, that brings us to Super Nintendo World and, of course, Donkey Kong Country. Now, I haven't had anything in Super Nintendo World specifically yet because I've been to the one in Hollywood a couple of times and I basically had the entire menu at the Toadstool Cafe out there at this point, which I liked most of it. And the one here looks like it's pretty much the same items. It'll probably be like a little bit lower on my priority list to try for me just because I've already, like I said, I've already tried those things in Hollywood, but we'll see how it shakes out. I did, however, get to try something in Donkey Kong Country, and over here, I got myself the DK Crush Float from the Bubbly Barrel. And like I said, this is available in Donkey Kong Country, so it's a warp pipe within the warp pipe. I did, of course, get the option served in the souvenir mug because Donkey Kong is my favorite video game and is currently sitting in my Super Nintendo at my home right now. This was $20 before my AP discount, and I was told, because there were not any menu signs up yet, that it was a Dole Whip with bits of like Heath Bar, caramel popcorn served in a waffle cone over some Fanta soda. I believe the Fanta soda was pineapple. Now, I've seen some people online saying there is a banana flavor to this. I didn't really get that. Maybe it was pineapple and banana. Maybe the pineapple just overwhelmed the banana. I like bananas, but I don't really like banana flavoring. So I was a little worried about that. But honestly, I didn't really taste it, like I said. And this type of thing usually isn't my sort of jam in a theme park. I just worry about the sugar crash. But it was like Very good. It was surprisingly good. Like, I didn't really need the float part of it, but the toffee with the soft serve and the caramel corn, it all worked together so well. And that waffle cone was nice and crisp and crunchy. I had it at just the right time of day, I feel like. Plus, now I have a really cute Donkey Kong mug to have a little drink out of. You can pour in like a can of soda into it. That's about how big the mug is. It's not gigantic, but it is a really cute mug. Should they sell it in the gift shop? Probably. But I got it over there. In Dark Universe, I have made stops at both the Burning Blade Tavern and Das Steakhouse. Now, for me, I think my favorite thing that I've had in the theme park so far, and what I would argue are two do not miss items, come from the Burning Blade Tavern. So let me tell you a little bit more about this location that you're going to find in the Darkmoor Village. The Burning Blade Tavern is the old mill which Darkmoor Village's monster hunters have transformed into their hangout. Here, guests will discover stories of some of the countryside's most accomplished creature capturers, along with a menu of burgers, wings, bratwurst, pretzels, and beverages. A fun fact from the Universal website says that the windmill at the top of the Burning Blade Tavern erupts into flames several times an hour, and 2 types of fuel are used in different ratios, allowing for an easy visibility to guests during both day and night. In the video I made about the media preview day, you'll find on this Diz Unlimited YouTube channel, you can see it erupt during the day, and then I also took a video of it erupting on night. That is on our Diz YouTube channel. That's where no one's talking in those videos. It might be a lot easier for some of you people. So that is youtube.com/WDWinfo, or you can just type in the handle The Diz and it'll be over there. It's very cool when it erupts at night, though. Awesome. At the time of recording this, I could only mobile order the food and pick it up at the back window. So like where you're going into the tavern, there's another walkway that goes around the back. And you can also walk up and order the mead and beer here as well. I asked the team member, they told me that was okay, but if I wanted the mixed drinks, you had to order that inside of the tavern. So it's a little sort of confusing because inside a tavern, I didn't know if you could order food or not because I didn't see it up on the menus. I'm not sure. So again, stay tuned because obviously we're going to be doing a big review of all of this and we got to try some of those cocktails. But at this location, I had the Hunter's Garlic Steak, which is crispy garlic butter pretzel with garlic dipping sauce for $8.99. The garlic steak is probably my favorite theme park snack at the moment. All theme parks. I love garlic. This thing is covered in it, and then it's served with this like buttery, delicious garlic dipping sauce on the side. I have half a mind to bring Tupperware to smuggle out that sauce next time. Trust me, no vampire is going to want to come within 100 feet of you after you have this thing. It's simple but delicious. Trust me. Do not leave Epic Universe without getting your hands on one of these. I have seen it across social media. I think everybody is kind of in agreement. So I'm hoping the quality of the pretzel and everything with it holds up. But my, oh my, delicious, delicious, delicious. I also had the Burning Cheddar Bites over here, which are crispy fried poppers with sriracha ranch for $11.99. Now, the Burning Cheddar Bites are a great shareable option. I thought the pimento cheese that was inside of them was nice. It had a little bit of a zing to it. Combine that with the sriracha ranch dipping sauce, and it puts it over the top. If you were at Halloween Horror Nights this past year, you may remember the Rocks from Hell. This is basically them just rebranded, and I feel like kicked up a notch. I definitely like these more than them. I also had the Burning Blade Burger, which is a 4-ounce blank Angus patty with American cheese, caramelized onions, jalapeno bacon, served on a potato bun for $12.99. I feel like for the size of it, it's a little pricey, but honestly, mine was fantastic. When I had it, it was served on a little black potato bun. The jalapeno bacon and the caramelized onions gave this thing like a little bit of sweetness, and I enjoyed the salty chips that it was served with. I feel like it's 100% the right thing to have at a tavern, like this little greasy cheeseburger to soak up all of that liquid courage, as you want to call it, in your system. So I did enjoy that. Now over here, there are 2 more items that are exclusively made for this area. You've got, they are served at another area. I should say they're exclusively made for this world. So you have the Reaper's Reserve, which is a brown ale with cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove for $13. The Reaper's Reserve, like I said, is exclusively made for the Dark Universe area, but I've been going back and forth. I don't know if it's like an absolute, like you must get, you didn't go to Epic Universe if you didn't have it, but I enjoyed it. It has a little bit of like a Yankee Candle holiday smell to it, and I think it's going to be the perfect winter beer because those flavors of like cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove with a little bit of this like vanilla flavor I got from it are very much giving me Christmas vibes, and I'm all for that. It does truly have that flavor and is that type of style of beer that I would imagine comes from a location like this. So I'm going to really enjoy this one, I think, when it's like a cool, crisp night while I stare into the flames of the Burning Blade Tavern like a moth ready to end it all. That is perfection to me. There is also this other item that I think is going to be incredibly popular, and that is the Dark Thorn Mead. It is boysenberry blackcurrant vanilla with pink peppercorn infusion for $14. This mead is delicious, and it is dangerous. I am not typically a mead person because I find them too sweet. I kind of think of them as like liquid honey, but this one, it's still a little sweet, but it's on the lighter sweet side, if that makes sense. It's made of boysenberry, like I said, which I absolutely love and will always try anything boysenberry flavored. And it's finished off with that little bit of that peppercorn infusion, so it gives it a little like peppery aftertaste. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. Like a little, it just has this like zing at the end. And there is a mead in How to Train Dragon Isle of Berk that is finished with a little something else, and I'll mention that when we get there. But they have like a subtle difference. But I think people will have their favorites. We might have to do like a mead off at some point. But like I said, I think this drink is going to be very, very popular. I think anybody who's already been there, when you say, oh, I just went to Epic Universe, they're going to go, did you get the mead in Dark Universe? So I think like add this and the pretzel to the list. I did go over to Das Steakhouse, which is the quick service location in this world where Universal says you can enjoy a monstrously good meal. Let me read you the website description as well. Shrouded in mystery, Das Steakhouse is an old inn and dining hall built over the ruins of ancient catacombs. Here you can enjoy a meal surrounded by vampire artwork and artifacts. In fact, the restaurant is run by vampires' familiars, or you could call them vampire servants. Just don't venture down the catacombs below, or you might find yourself on the vampire's menu. There's also a fun fact that was on the website about this establishment. There's a bunch of different paintings in here, and they depict the world of vampires from their point of view, painting them as heroes in these stories while displaying some of Darkmoor's history and I wrote the wrong word, referencing some of its architecture. So you got to be sure to take a peek at some of these. They're kind of around the restaurant. I was told by someone, one of the familiars, I should say, about this one portrait that's hanging up there. It's a woman, and apparently it's like Dracula's first wife or favorite wife. There may have been more to the story, but don't be afraid to look around and ask these familiars some questions. They had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun. Like one of the things I ordered, they were like, "Oh, that looks good. What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, chicken." And they were like, "Oh, looks like my pet." You know, and it's just stuff like that. It was kind of like a little macabre and funny, but there is some things I will say to watch out for when you're coming in, like turn around when you pass where you would order, which you can also just sit down and mobile order, which is basically all I've done so far. But if you turn around, there's like everyone's favorite familiar in a little coffin, and then when you're leaving the restaurant, there is the creepiest little statue of like a little vampire girl holding like a stuffed animal or something. Scary. There's also this area, like if you go out the exit, it's like just off to the side, that is like completely shaded behind these big gates, but you can hang out in there out of the sun. But don't be alarmed, because there's going to be some big scary vampires hanging out in there as well. Some cool, just like cool little fun details everywhere. So I did try a couple of things, and I'm going to tell you about them from Das Steakhouse. First, I had the quote-unquote blood orange chicken sandwich. It is a flash fried marinated chicken breast with blood orange sauce and pickles with a familiar slaw on a black bun with fries. $17.99 for this. I thought it was good. The flash fried chicken breast was a good piece of chicken, but I'm not sure like the breading on the chicken really gave me anything like memorable. And the blood orange sauce made everything just like a little bit sticky. I split it into 4 with my group so we could keep trying different things. And I think I'm glad I did that. It wasn't bad. Like I said, it just wasn't as memorable as I was hoping. So I suppose it's toward like the bottom of my list of everything that I've had at the park so far, but I would like to go back and try it again. That blood orange sauce was very, it kind of reminded me of the sauce you get with like sweet and sour chicken. I also got the Darkmoor black wings. So these are Darkmoor spicy chili dusted fried wings with smoked cheddar, charred scallions, pimento, cornbread skull, and soy chili garlic sauce, served with a familiar slaw, for $15.99. I did really enjoy the coating on these. These wings were giving local Chinese food restaurant poo-poo platter wings, and honestly, I like that. The black sauce on them had like a nice little bit of a zing to it. It looked like it was balsamic, so like mentally I was prepared for that, but it was giving sweet Thai chili, which is definitely my jam. I love a sweet Thai chili sauce. They were a little hard to eat, and I don't usually go with like the meat on the bone option, but and I probably wouldn't get them again. However, that doesn't mean that I didn't like them, and I don't think that they were really good. Now that skull cornbread that was on the side was pretty solid. The pimento like flavoring to it gave it a really nice taste. I did feel like I could use a little bit of like a honey butter or something to spread on it, since nothing on the plate was really like overly saucy, but I still enjoyed it, and I really loved the skull presentation. I have a skull I bought literally like on clearance after Halloween this year, like one of those like silicone baking trays to do like pizza skulls from Halloween Horror Nights with that. So I'm glad they're having fun with the food presentation over here. Now the slaw on the side, it was a nice crunchy slaw. Could use a little bit more of the sauce, in my opinion. Just a little bit more of the liquid. That's just me, but I enjoyed it. For dessert, I went with the Red Velvet Death. It is a red velvet heart, quote-unquote, beet, so it's made from beets, coffin cake with chocolate crumbs and puffed rice maggots. This is $6.99. I had to try one of these desserts because aesthetically I was like, which one of these is going to all photograph well, and I chose wisely here. This red velvet coffin was delicious. It was perfectly made. This was like one of the best cakes I've ever had. I'm not even kidding you. And the cream cheese to cake ratio was like perfect. That like dust on the side with the puffed rice maggots, it added like a really nice texture to all of this that just put it over the top for me. I would add this to definitely the Muscat items. So if you dine at Das Steakhouse, go this route for the dessert. Now, I do want to grab a port key and head into the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. I have not had nearly as much as I would like to have in this world yet, but I'll tell you what I did have. That butterbeer crepe, okay? Now, at Café Léard des Serines is an authentic quick service French wizarding cafe serving French baked goods, sandwiches, plats du jour, and desserts, along with a variety of non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks, including beer, cocktails, and French wines, as well as that one and only butterbeer. And that is where you're going to find the butterbeer crepe. So here's what I got there. I don't know if this is how you pronounce it yet or not, but the beer baru. I have no idea. The beer baru crepe. It is a shortbread cookie butter Bavarian cream, beer baru, which is the word for butterbeer in French, cream, strawberries, beer baru drizzle, and shortbread cookie garnish. It is pricey. It's $20. It's $19.99. Believe the hype on this one. One bite, and I immediately decided this is how I will be consuming my butterbeer moving forward. Like I said, a little pricey at $20 a pop, but I found it easily to be shareable between 3 people, and honestly, I'd even throw in a 4th in there. So now that's $5 a person, which in my theme park math brain is a deal. I cannot wait to get another one of these. The butterbeer cream inside is absolutely delicious. It is the essence of butterbeer flavoring. It's crazy. The strawberry has added this nice little pop to it, and the whipped cream deserves an Academy Award for its performance. It was absolutely wonderful, and it has to be homemade. It has to be. It's just so good. The little shortbread cookie on top is a really nice touch as well. All of this wrapped up in the perfectly dense, beautiful crepe. I'm like literally watering at the mouth right now thinking about it. So good. It is served cold. I just want to let people know, because I did have a friend who said, he wished it was served hot, and I thought he was insane, and we no longer speak. No, I'm just kidding. We speak. But to each his own. I love it cold. I love a frozen butterbeer anyways, although I do love a hot butterbeer. But I found it like, I sort of had that same reaction. Like, I love like a lemon curd. It's not in that same flavor profile, but I've had like a lemon and blueberry crepe, or like, I feel like when it's warm outside and you have that sort of a thing, you know, it feels very refreshing. And it didn't feel like, it was sweet, but not like, oh God, this is way too sweet. It was so good. You really, this is a do not miss item. Absolutely. Absolutely good. Now, I do want to try some of the other stuff over here, because there was sandwiches, there was a French onion soup, it's a whole thing. I made a stop at Le Goblet Noir. This restaurant is a hot spot for dark witches and wizards to gather and escape the prying eyes of the Paris ministry. Amongst whispered secrets, guests can enjoy options like soups and salads, as well as a variety of entrees and desserts. The residence above Le Goblet Noir belongs to Nicolas Flamel, the famed French alchemist known for creating the Philosopher's Stone. A little fun fact for this one is that supposedly you can spot the Deathly Hallows and puppets from the Tale of the Three Brothers show. When we go back to do the full review, I'm going to have to find all of that in there. But I had two items. Both of them are drinks. I had the Wizard's Brew, which is a full-bodied sweet stout with a smooth, light sweetness and a clean, dry finish for $13. The menus were not working on the day that I went in here to try a drink, and the team member told me this beer was made exclusively for the Paris Wizarding World. It is made exclusively for the Wizarding World, but you will find it in the other locations as well. So I found that out, but I don't think I'd had it before, so it's really like no harm, no foul to me. I thought the beer actually had some really nice notes of toffee with a little bit of nuttiness to it. I really, really enjoyed it. I know it says full-bodied sweet stout, but I feel like it wasn't nearly as heavy as a stout, so I really, really enjoyed it. For a non-alcoholic option over here, my friend got the Le Breuvage Sombre du Goblet Noir. $7. This is a deliciously dark brew conjuring unique flavors of mixed fruit and topped with the eyes of plempies, whatever those are, yogurt popping pearls in parentheses. So I don't know what animal they're pulling eyes from, but I had a couple of sips of this, and I actually think this drink was really quite refreshing. It was giving me grape soda without the fizz and a little less of the sweetness to it. So something different, something to try. I did make one more stop on one of my visits to the Wizarding World along the way into the bar Moonshine, which is the U.S. Quidditch team themed bar with plenty of Wizarding Americana to be found here. In here, you're going to find some unique cocktails, as well as the Au Courant Saison. This is $13. It's a black currant Saison. I was told was made specifically for the Wizarding World, but I don't know anymore. I don't know. I enjoy a Saison. This was light, refreshing. Didn't really get a lot of the black currant flavor. It was actually surprisingly light in color to be black currant flavored, because I thought black currants were like grape juice looking, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it was truly memorable and go out of my way great. Like the next time, I'm probably going to try one of the mixed drinks over here when we go back for the review. But since it is a moonshine bar, I should have, I guess, tried one of those. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Now, we're going to enter the world of dragons. I know there are dragons in the Wizarding World, but that was my segue. Over at Hooligans, Grog, and Gruel, you are going to find a selection of mac and cheese cones. And if you know me, you know I love a mac and cheese cone. So when I heard they were going to have them at this new park, I knew I had to try it. And of course, the one that caught my eye was the PB&J, which is not what you think. It is pork, bacon, and jam. This is a creamy mac and cheese with barbecue, harissa, pulled pork, maple candy bacon, and chopped parsley served in a crunchy cone. It is $14.49. Oh my God. This thing is truly the superior mac and cheese cone that makes that other one on the West Coast look a little sad by comparison. The buttery, crispy bread on this one with the creamy mac and cheese and sweetness of that pulled pork with the bacony flavor. It was just such a really good combination. Now, the next time I go, I do want to get my hands on the other one. So there's like a regular mac and cheese one, and then there's one called the Dragon Fire Chicken Spire. And this is served with Nashville-style pulled chicken, hot honey, Calabrian peppers, chimichurri, and crispy onions. It's a must-try. I got to get this one. Obviously, when I'm in Isle of Burke, I had to try out Mead Hall, because it was all the talk of the land over there. This is the main eatery where Vikings feast on a hearty menu, including meat, fish, sandwiches, and desserts. You'll also find beverages including assorted meads, ciders, and ales. Since I was with friends, we decided to try the Thaw Fest platter. It comes with wild berry barbecue glazed chicken drumsticks, grilled salmon, sausage links, sausage links, roasted carrots, capolini onions, Nordic fries, and some side sauces. This is a lot of food. This was $50. I had this on the day I could not take pictures, but there is a photo on the Universal website that I feel like is surprisingly accurate to what it looked like when it was served. I was honestly sort of shocked by how much food was on this platter. I do feel like it sort of comes out with not much explanation though, because there is like a barbecue sauce that comes on the drumsticks that you also get a side of as well, which is great because you take a bite, you dip it back in, you take a bite. But there was another sauce in there that might have been a tartar sauce, but I wasn't really sure that it was for the salmon because the salmon already came with sort of like a chimichurri sauce or something on top of it. The salmon was good too. It was solid theme park salmon. Not just theme park salmon, but solid salmon in general. I really like the carrots that came on this as well. And there was a lot of fries. The onions were an interesting choice. They reminded me of pearl onions, which I'm a fan of. I feel like this is probably designed, like in the description, for like 4 people. There were 3 of us eating this, and there was way more than enough food for the 3 of us because there was also, like I said in the description, whole selection of sausage. So there's lots of proteins on this. Would I get it again? Probably not, because I have tons of other food to try in the park. And I like to graze in a theme park as opposed to having these like big meals. But do I think it's worth it? Absolutely. 100%. Especially if you're someone traveling with a family or a large group of friends. I think this is totally worth it if you are looking at doing the feast. And of course, while I was there, I needed to get the most Instagrammable dessert, maybe in the entire park on the day, that I couldn't take a picture, obviously. And that is the Stormfly's catch of the day. It is a chocolate mousse fish served atop cereal crumble. I feel like my favorite part of this dessert was the crumble. It says cereal crumble, but it reminded me a lot of that, like, it's the holiday mix that people will give out where they toss the cereal and like white chocolate and other candies. No complaint there. The mousse inside of this was nice, even though I'm not a big chocolate person. I think it's going to be a very popular dessert. Very popular. And finally, I had the Gobbers mead here. This is the same description as the one from Dark Universe, so boysenberry, blackcurrant, vanilla, but the difference is this one was finished with Grains of Paradise infusion. I had to look this up. Grains of Paradise is in the ginger family. Maybe it should have been served in the Weasley household. Rimshot, please. Oh, we don't have the budget? Okay. We'll move on from that. I did not have it on the same day as the mead from the Burning Blade, so I need to do a comparison in the future. I feel like the ginger did give this like a nice little bit of a zing, a little pep in the step. Would recommend, definitely. Now at this time, again, I would like to remind all of you that all of this food and drink that I consumed was consumed over several visits. I did not eat and drink this much on one day in this body, in this Florida heat. There are water refill stations throughout this park, so drink responsibly and hydrate. You want to keep that body ready for the next snack. Trust me. Those are my thoughts on all the food that I've had so far. More things are good to great, so I'm happy to say that. I've yet to really have anything below average, so I really hope I'm not putting a curse on myself right now by doing this and saying all of that, and I continue to have good luck with the food and the drinks in this park, because my oh my, are there so many more places and things to try in this brand new epic universe. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about today, please do not hesitate to reach out. If you are watching this on YouTube, please leave some comments on the video, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. If you click that bell button, you're going to get notified whenever we publish any new content. If you are listening to this, please rate and review the podcast when you have the time, and don't be shy about sending an email to us. Let us know what kind of content you want us to cater to help you plan the perfect Universal vacation. You can send that email out to podcast@disunlimited.com or leave those comments on YouTube, wherever's easiest for you. But thank you everybody for all of your time today. I hope that you have an excellent day. Remember, be excellent to each other.